I'm Dale Smith for Looney Politics, and this last week, NDP leadership hopeful Avi Lewis said that if he wins the leadership contest later this month, that he won't go and seek a seat anytime soon in a by-election, but would rather go around the country to rebuild the party. This should be disqualifying for any leadership candidate. Now, I'm old school, and I think that you should have a seat before you run for being leader. However, if you do run for the leadership and you win and you don't have a seat, you should run for one as soon as humanly possible. The job is in Parliament. It's not outside of it, no matter how much you think that you should be traveling the country to rebuild the party. The job is in Parliament, and that is also where your media attention is. Now, Jagmeet Singh made this same mistake when he was first made leader. For the first year and a bit, he decided he was only going to be in Ottawa on Wednesdays for caucus meetings, and he rapidly became absolutely irrelevant. If you're not in the House of Commons and you're not getting the clips on camera, the media is going to ignore you. And he learned that lesson, and he eventually got a seat in Burnaby, even though he wanted one in Brampton. But once he had that seat, he suddenly became relevant again. Now, same thing with Ontario Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie. She decided not to get a seat because she wanted to wait for one to open up in Mississauga, where she had been mayor. She became absolutely irrelevant. She disappeared from the media for weeks or months at a time, and then wondered why she couldn't get any traction when the election came around. It's not that difficult to understand. You need to be present. And for Lewis not to understand this is, again, it should be disqualifying because it means you don't understand what the job is and how the dynamics work. It also means you haven't learned from past mistakes from previous leaders in your own party who tried to do the same thing. We can see, for example, that Nate Erskine-Smith, who is now running for the Ontario Liberal leadership, has already decided he's going to run for a by-election as soon as possible in Scarborough South because that has been vacated provincially. And he is currently in the process of gathering signatures to challenge that nomination because, hey, they're still running open nominations in the provincial party. Is that a novel concept? But it's also an indication that he is not only serious about having a seat when he's leader, but also making a commitment to the party that he is going to have a seat even if he doesn't win the leadership. And that's another dynamic that a lot of leadership hopefuls don't really take to heart. We've seen a number of times where past Liberal and Conservative leadership candidates couldn't even win the nomination in ridings that they chose after they lost that nomination or after they lost that leadership contest, which is a pretty good indication that they would have been a terrible leader because they couldn't even get through that basic hurdle of an open nomination contest. So as much as Avi Lewis thinks that his time would be better spent traveling the country and trying to get the party back on its feet, it just goes to show that he probably doesn't understand politics as well as he thinks he does if he thinks that that's going to work for him. For Looney Politics, I'm Dale Smith.